Alrighty, what's up YouTube? How's it going? So today's gonna be a little bit of a different kind of like vlog. I'm basically just gonna be talking about my experience working as an overnight. Again, it's probably been kind of like around the month that I ended up quitting that job. And again, I said I was gonna try to make a video like, hey, this is how it was for me. This is what I was experiencing. And just things to kind of watch out for if you do happen to work overnights. I did work as an overnight for about a year and a half. And this is pretty much my experience working as an overnight. All right, so let's get to the main thing. What was I doing? So basically, I was working at a dog training / boarding facility. That's where they train dogs, for whatever reason is that they were there for, whether they were chewing, they were aggressive dogs with others, with people, all that kind of sort of stuff. And then also for when people went on vacations, usually people don't have anywhere to leave their dogs. You can't leave them alone at the house. So you leave them at a boarding facility, right? So that's basically what I was doing as an overnight. I started off with 2 other people, and basically all we did was make sure we took them out to go potty. We fed them, make sure, if they had accidents, we cleaned them, wash bowls, and just kind of get like a little head start for the morning people, right? So my hours were basically from 9 p.m. all the way to 6 a.m. There were times kind of when it got slow where they wanted to kind of push me a little from 10 p.m. through 7 a.m. And I did that a couple times, but sometimes when you just have a schedule, it's kind of like, it kind of sucks. And then keep in mind too that the job where I was going to was pretty much like 30 minutes away from me. So I had to leave kind of extra early sometimes just to even get there. So aside from all the 8 hours, I also had to spend an extra hour going to the job and then coming back, right? And then sometimes traffic would happen. And then a lot of the time was like a lot of my coworkers were kind of coming in late because it's 6 a.m. You know how that goes. So I sometimes had to stay extra. So it was a lot of hours, but it was good for the moment. So why did I end up getting the overnight job? So at the moment, I was working actually really close to where I'm living at right now, which was kind of like an entertainment / stage building in a sense. So I still don't really know how to describe it, but we were basically kind of setting up stages for, how where DJs, play their booths, I guess, like the stage where they're at, the whole lights, all the beams and all that. That's basically kind of like we were trying to be. We're trying to be like a rental company as well. And like sometimes host like our own like little events. That's the way that I describe it. Basically, I was kind of like a technician where I was setting up stages, setting up lights, cables to run through all like the computers and all that. That's basically kind of like what I was doing. But unfortunately, since we were kind of like a small business, after the holidays, it's kind of when it started kind of going down, and then I was only working literally 2 to 3 days a week, and income wasn't kind of there. And then unfortunately, we did get the news last year that my mom wasn't gonna make it due to cancer. So it was a thing where I talked to my wife, who's basically a regular in this channel, and I was like, hey, like I kind of want to move out from my house. So it was a thing where like, all right, well, we got to be engaged if you want to do, if like we want to move, blah, blah, blah. But basically it was just trying to save money. I didn't want to be there. And then it was a thing too that like knowing that information about my mom, it's like I wasn't able to sleep during the night, right? It's like just a lot of noise was, I guess, affecting me. So it was like, well, if I can't sleep at night, then what am I supposed to do, right? So that's when I applied through Indeed, and I was like, hey, like there's a job working with dogs. And I was like, okay, cool. Right, so I ended up getting the job, and again, the reason why I was working there was because I love dogs, right? I currently have 2 right now. I've had dogs for over 10 years, and it's just something that I love. I rather work with animals rather than people. So as an overnight, I didn't have to talk to anyone, and again, I was in that depression, right? Because like I knew at any moment like it was gonna happen for my mom, but then also it's just like I was having stable hours. I was getting my full 40 hours each week, and it's like, all right, consistent pay, right? So this is good, especially if we move. And then the time did eventually come where my mom did pass away, and so I was kind of like in a depression as well, right? Where it's just kind of like I'm just here to work, animals are making me happy. And then I moved out to this apartment where it's like, all right, I need to make rent every month now, right? That's how it kind of goes when you grow up and you move out. So now, how was I technically feeling? So at first, I want to say that it felt really good. So once again, when I first started, there was 3 of us, like I mentioned earlier. three of us, we were kind of there. It was all smooth and it was kind of going good. And I felt good at first, right? It was kind of funny because like I would look at my two coworkers who have been there for over a year, and like every day they would just kind of come in and be like, oh my God, like I feel so tired today. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like I feel so good right now. Like we got this. And like it wasn't over it's like time where I kind of started feeling where I was like, oh, I kind of feel like now I feel like what you meant, right? Because as time goes by, it's like you start not getting the best of sleep and then eventually you start getting tired. But keep in mind, like 3-4 months into like I guess my position, I started being the only overnight now because one of them technically had left because she was moving out of the state. And then it was kind of me between the other co-worker, and they ended up choosing me, I guess, because I was being consistent, right? Because I wasn't calling out, I was showing up, and it's like, all right, here, you're gonna be our guy, I guess. And I was like, all right, cool. But it was to the point where like I started being by myself, and it's like at first, it's kind of good because there wasn't much, I guess, going on. So it was just like, that's why they're like, hey, like there's not many dogs. That's why you're going to be the only overnight. It's like, all right, cool. But then once the holidays kind of come in, especially in the summer, that's when we just start getting a bunch of other dogs. And it's like dogs here, dogs there. It's like literally I had to do like maybe around like 50, 60, 70, 80 dogs by myself kind of, right? Because all I did was take them out to go potty, feed them. And it was just like, it just turned into a mess. But other than that, like from work, I was coming out super tired. Again, I came out from 6 a.m. and then got home close to 7. And it's like, all right, straight to go to sleep. I wasn't really eating like as good just because sometimes it's like working as an overnight, you don't have much of an appetite, at least for me. Again, keep in mind, it's going to be different for every job. At least for me, it's like I got home, fell asleep. Sometimes I would struggle. And then it was kind of like, okay, now I got to wake up and just kind of do like this and that. But like, as I was waking up, I started feeling very tired. And it's like, oh my God, like why? I would lay down in the couch and then I would just kind of like, I feel so tired. I don't want to go to work in today. Which I know is probably like a lot the same for like some other jobs during the day. But trust me, being as an overnight, you feel super tired. And as a man, like my testosterone was like going down, right? So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. And that's how I was feeling, where I was just feeling tired. And it wasn't like towards the end of like my, I guess, overnight where I was just like, dude, my body's just not feeling it anymore. So that's secondly how I was feeling, just not happy, not motivated. Even though I had all these YouTube channels, like I wanted to do content, but just my body was just like, I feel so tired. Like I just don't want to do it. I literally just want to rest now. All right, so let's talk about vacation. So I pretty much worked throughout the entire year, right? Because I had to make, income to pay for rent, because that's what we got to do. And I just kind of waited till the end of, I guess, till like the middle of October. One, because right after that was going to be my birthday, and then a bunch of games were coming out. Again, on the Fake Hector channel, that's what I kind of do. I try to make guides. So it was Silent Hills 2, it was the Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero game, Neva, and then Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So it was perfect timing for me. And when it came to it, like, yes, I was super busy. I was doing, trying to pass the game, trying to make guides, and like I was doing this and that. The only thing is I wasn't sleeping well. And let me tell you, I'm the type of person that like, I tried, on my days off, like trying to sleep during the night and then wake up, or I guess like be awake during the day. And like that thing just was not working for me. It's a thing where like I tried going to sleep that night, but my brain was just like da 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 da, and it's like I couldn't fall asleep. So I noticed that like, hey, why don't I just keep my schedule consistent? Like just stay throughout the entire night, go to sleep in the morning, and then wake up in the afternoon. And that's something that was really working for me. It literally was like the thing for me to do, because if I stayed awake the entire day, I would just get headaches. So when it came literally for those 2 weeks, I kind of wasn't going to sleep that well, because again, I was trying to go to sleep at 7, but my brain was just kind of like, no, you're not. And then it was just a bunch of tossing and turning, and then I wasn't really, I guess, sleeping. Keep in mind, I also did end up getting a new puppy, but it wasn't his fault why I wasn't falling asleep in the first place. It was literally my brain was like, or my body was like, hey, we're not tired, you're not working right now. So it was just kind of like, I think like all over, right? Where like I wasn't getting the best of sleep. I was just tired. And keep in mind, I asked for two weeks of vacation, and then towards the end of my second one, my body was just like, dude, we feel tired. So it's kind of like, well, what the heck do you want me to do? Now, there were reasons why I brought up the vacation, because you're probably like, well, why does this have to be here? Watch. So my reasonings for leaving my current place was just, to me personally, I felt that the place didn't really care about me anymore, right? Because when it came to asking for help, especially in the summer when we had a bunch of dogs, I would literally talk to, the CEO, right? Because they were the owners, right? It's in their house, and it's like, hey, I need help. Like, I'm really getting exhausted. There's no bowl sometimes, and there's just a lot of dogs. And it was kind of like, okay, well, we're not really consistent, and it's like, we kind of are. And then I think the thing was like, every other department was kind of getting help except for mine when I was literally asking for help. Again, the only overnights. So it's like, why is everyone else getting at least one person added, and I'm over here asking you guys, but it's not happening. So that was just a thing where it's like, hey, no help. And it's like, all right, like, I can't go through this again, because that summer was very brutal for me. That's what kind of like made me kind of, I guess, kind of not necessarily go crazy, but it was like my mental kind of went, like my mental health kind of went down a bit, and just kind of like, I can't go through this, because that's what the vacation was for, to kind of help me, like, I guess, recuperate and just kind of get my mental health back straight up. And it's like, did it really help? Not really. And it's just like, also the holidays were just around the corner, and it's like, and they hadn't even told me like, hey, are you gonna need help? What's the situation? It's like, it's a thing that I had to be doing it for them. Like, hey, I need help. And I'm just like thinking like, do I really want to go through this again? Like, I don't want to experience what I did in the summer, so I don't want to do this anymore. And then I think some things that were really bothering me, again, going back to the vacation now, it's like how I told you that I literally didn't call off anything throughout the year, because first I couldn't, because I'm the only overnight and there's no one to cover me, but that's not on me, right? And even though I worked there for a year and a half, for my 2 weeks of vacation that I was supposed to get paid, I only got 16 hours of vacation hours for working over a year and a half. 16 hours, 2 days basically. Floating holidays. I literally worked every single holiday last year in 2023. Thanksgiving, New Year, New Year's Eve, Christmas, Christmas Eve. 5 days. And that's what floating holidays are supposed to be, where like, hey, you work holidays, next year you'll get reimbursed, by getting those 5 days where you can choose them wherever. I only got 2 days. I don't necessarily understand. Maybe it's a thing I didn't read while I signed. It didn't make sense, and it was something that really bothered me right when I kind of took my vacation, because I was like, hey, let me just put in like, my floating holidays, my vacation pay, because I got the time. But when I talked to HR, they're like, oh, no, you only get 4 days technically. So I'm like, okay, that's okay, fine. So it was literally something that was kind of bothering me, and then I technically told myself, like, at the beginning of my vacation, I was like, so I have sick hours that basically I thought I could basically use them over to it, but I guess they're like, no, because you requested personal time off. So I'm like, so I can't use them. The only way that I can use them is if I get a doctor's note. So even in the beginning of my vacation, I was like, what if I go to a doctor and just say I feel tired? But it all worked out to my, I guess, to me, because I did actually end up going to the doctor, but it was because I was feeling super tired, lethargic from my vacation, and I just want to go talk to the doctor. And I was like, hey, like, I'm working an overnight these past 2 weeks. Like, I'll be honest with you, I literally just had 2 weeks of vacation. I'm supposed to go back in 2 days. I need an extra week because I don't feel good. And even the doctor was like, yeah, like, it's a good thing that you're starting to realize this, because I have this talk with a lot of patients who work overnights who just don't understand that, where they're like, this is just how life is going to be. It's like, no, it's like, you got to quit the job. That's literally what the doctor told me. It's like, you got to take after yourself, because it clearly doesn't seem like they care about you. So it's up to you, and you have to quit that job for you to kind of go back. Also, the fact that like overnights is kind of like one of the main reasons why, relationships fall apart. That's kind of what he told me. So I took it all in. I took the extra week. I was like, okay, hopefully this extra week kind of helps me kind of relax and just kind of reschedule, or I guess reset my schedule. and then we'll see how that goes from there. But at the end of the day, it didn't, right? And I went back that week, and that entire week I still kind of felt tired. I was like, I guess the vacation didn't really help me out. And then the other thing too is just like, I just wasn't enjoying time with my family, right? It's like when I would wake up, I would kind of come straight here to make some content, play with my friends, stream. And then after that, okay, time to go eat. And then I would eat my food. Gabby and I would just watch like one episode, sometimes half of an episode. And then we had to go walk the dogs and then come back. And then by the time I came back, it's like, okay, well, I got to get my food ready to get to work. And it's like, we didn't really get to spend too much time. And then even on her days off, it's the same kind of cycle. So it was kind of, it never got to anything crazy with us, but it was just like, hey, we're not really spending time with each other. And then going over to my family's as well, when there was parties, it's like, I went there, I ate, I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta start heading back because I need to feed the dogs, I need to go walk them, I need to eat, and then I need to get ready. Same thing is when I was playing with my cousin and friends on the video games. Right when it was getting super good, right? Like playing zombies and all that, it was kind of like getting good, and we're like, oh shoot, I gotta get off already. So it's like I wasn't just enjoying my time at all. And it's just kind of a thing where I'm like, dude, like I'm not really enjoying this like at all anymore. But the main reason why I kind of decided to take the risk is my body. My body was literally telling me like, hey dude, we can't do this anymore. We're feeling very exhausted. We're not getting good sleep. Because again, it's super hard to sleep, right? Because there's a lot of noise, people knock, and then there's people, you know, the gardeners kind of blowing the leaves, and just in general, people talking. Again, your body's not supposed to be sleeping during the day. It's supposed to be during the night. So that was just kind of like the it factor for me. It's like, dude, your body, it's telling me like, we can't do this anymore. We're not sleeping. You're feeling super tired. You're feeling very lethargic. And just to the point where like, I just had to listen. And it's like, I took that risk, right? And then during my vacation, I kind of just had applied to like different places where I was like, hey, like, let me just apply just to see. And then luckily, I kind of had some interviews here and there. And then that's when I just kind of took the risk. And I was like, all right, well, I got to listen to my body. I can't do this anymore. I called HR that day, or actually texted them, because I was like, nah, I'm like, I think I'm just good with the text. I'm like, hey, I can't do this anymore. I am resigning from the overnights. My body just doesn't feel good. And I just left it at that. So now going into what pretty much is a month of not working overnights. Again, I got lucky enough that right when I quit, a day later, I got a call from the employee or employer from another animal shelter that were like, hey, we like you. We want to give you the position. You can start in literally tomorrow. And I was like, dude, I think that was a sign telling just like everything was kind of going my way. And I was like, dude, thank you. Because again, I wanted to go back to being normal for the longest freaking time, where like, I no longer wanted to be like a vampire every time I stepped outside with the sunlight and be like, it's like, I just didn't want to do that anymore. So again, it just all worked out for me, and I'm very thankful for that. So yeah, I'm just very happy about that. But then again, how am I feeling now? It's like, I'm feeling freaking happy, man. Like I've even been told like, hey dude, like you sound a lot more happy. You don't sound as tired. And it's like, I know that's literally like, I'm telling you, like, it's not that like I was trying to like not do anything. It's just like my body was just feeling so tired. Like I feel so happy nowadays. And then even with Gabi and I, it's just like, we're just a lot happier now because we actually get to enjoy time, which I'll get to in just a little bit. But again, I'm not tired. It's like I wake up and it's like, so I'm a person that I like to wake up early in general, right? So I go to sleep now at 10, 11, midnight sometimes. And then I try to kind of wake up somewhere from 6 to 7. I don't like being in bed for that long because I feel like I'm like, dude, I could be doing something right now, especially when it comes to content. It's like, I know I can be doing stuff, but it's like, I feel happy. I'm not tired. I'm getting my 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep now compared to back then where I was getting 5, 6 at most, right? And it's like, I feel good. It's like, I have free time. Like, I will be honest that during this kind of month, I haven't really been doing too much like content just because like I feel happy. It's like, hey, I can make breakfast now. I can actually have eggs like at 7 in the morning and not kind of have them like at 3, which I never really had them, but it's like, hey, I can watch TV and I can just do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it feels so good. Because back then, after the first day, so the only time I enjoyed my days off was the first day, because like to me, it's like on the second day already, it was like, oh my God, like I already, like I go back in tomorrow. Like I got to do it again. But it's like, dude, you still have 12 hours. But my brain was like, oh my God, we go back in tomorrow. So I never really enjoyed it. And then now I'm just having all this free time. And then I also feel motivated. Again, I've been watching YouTube and all that, and I'm just watching content creators. I'm like, oh my God, like this is what I could be doing. So I'm trying to get there, right? I'm just trying to enjoy my time again where I'm like, okay, like I can do this. It's just like cool. It's good. And then obviously the best part, it's like I'm actually enjoying my time now with my wife and with my friends, right? It's like now with Gabi, it's like she comes home sometimes late, and then it's like now it's like it doesn't matter because like we're eating, we're watching TV. It's like we literally watch anywhere from 2 to 4 episodes now of TV compared to back then where it was 1 episode or half of an episode. Now it's like 2 to 3. It's like we just finished Outer Banks, the newest season. We were watching it like nonstop because we could now. And like that's the thing. It's like now we actually kind of went to sleep together. We wake up together. It's like, oh my God, it's so different. Now when it comes over to gaming, like with my cousin and friends, it's like, hey, it's like 6 o'clock and I can still play. It's like, hey, it's 6 o'clock. Like I can still play. It's like, I don't have to get off to go to work. Now it's like, it's just like, dude, I just love having the time, not being rushed. It's like, we're all on the same page again. So it's just so good being back to normal. Like it's so weird that you would think like, why would you go to overnight? I don't know. Normalcy is just consistent to me personally. Not only that, for holidays, Thanksgiving, so technically right now, I was supposed to be working like all these holidays back at the other job. And I probably would have been hating it, being super tired, actually right now, I should have been probably barely waking up right now, being super exhausted, hating my life. Because again, I had to work those days, right? And then, here in Thanksgiving at this job, it's like I thought I had to work, which I'm totally fine because I pretty much in my mind I was like, fine, like I'll just work all these holidays again because that was my mindset at the other place. And then here it was literally like a day before where I was like, all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. They're like, no, you won't. I was like, why not? Because we're off tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And they're like, yeah, it's holiday pay. I'm like, I'm getting paid on a holiday without working. Now, keep in mind, I know this is, I guess this is the normal for a lot of places, but my experience at that place, it's like, I have to work it without getting, or I don't get paid. So it's like, and not only that, and I just checked the schedule too. Again, it can change depending on, if people kind of don't show up and all that, but Christmas Eve, I'm off. New Year's Eve, New Year's, I'm off. And guess what? Holiday pay. Well, keep in mind the eves are part of my days off, but I go back on the actual holiday pay. I'm off. It's just like, dude, I'm just so grateful, to be honest. Keep in mind too that at this current place, I am working 4 days only, but it is 10-hour days. So I get my full 40 hours in just 10 days, and then I get 3 days off. And it's just like, it's freaking game changing. Like I have 3 days off. Like technically right now I'm on my second day, and I'm just like, holy whack-a-mole. Like I still have the rest of tonight and then all of tomorrow to make all this content. So it's just like, dude, wow. It's just so, dude, like it's so hard to explain. Like try working. Actually, I don't even recommend working overnights at all. But just like, if you ever do it, just go back to the morning and I guess normal, and you'll be like, wow, so different, so freaking different. Now, I know I've been mumbling a lot, but these are things that I kind of my recommendations that I would recommend to you if you do happen to work overnights. Before I actually left, now, I hope this doesn't sound petty or anything because that's not what I was trying to do it. But I literally talked to my other coworkers because again, some of them kind of worked overnights, but never with me, right? Because again, I can only work 5 days, can't work all 7. But there was another overnight that would work 2 days overnight and then the rest, blah, blah, blah. And then another one that was most likely going to be the overnight. He was kind of the person covering me during my 3 weeks as well. But I literally talked to both of them. I was like, hey, this isn't me trying to be petty. This is just me telling you my experience of what it is. Because when they worked overnights, they kind of got the easy days. It was the Mondays and Tuesdays when a lot of the dogs were kind of home. and I got the weekends, and that's when it's packed. But I straight up just told him, I was like, hey, I'm just trying to be fair with you. Like, I'm not telling you don't take this job. I'm just telling you what's gonna happen. I'm like, holidays are coming. You're probably gonna be alone. It's gonna be a lot stressful. Keep in mind, you both of you got the easy days. Now you're gonna get the weekends. It's gonna be super packed. You're probably not gonna get help. Everything's gonna be blamed on you if anything happens. Right? Like, your body's not gonna feel good. This is how you're probably gonna be. Again, sleeping 5 days, I guess during the day is gonna get to you. Your mental health is kind of gonna go down. I was just being honest with them. I'm like, hey, take it as you leave it. All I'm telling you is, like, this is how I felt now, which is the reason why I'm leaving. And I'm like, this is how much I'm getting paid now. And even if they offer me $2 to $3 more bucks an hour, I'm like, I still wouldn't take it. So take it as it is. I'm just passing down my info to you, and there. I personally don't know if they took it. Someone obviously took it, but good luck to them. I wonder how they're doing, and I hope they're not suffering. But if anything, I hope they do end up getting another job soon. Also, what I do recommend is, as soon as you start working as an overnight, always be applying for other jobs, because you just never know when the right one might hit. So even when I first started, I always just applied just to random places. I was like, all right, let me put an application here, over there, just in case. I'm like, okay, this one contacted me back, but I'm like, I'm good. You just never know when you're gonna get that job for you, right? So through my entire year and a half, like, I was always applying. I was always kind of rejecting them. I was like, I'll know when the moment's ready sometimes, right? So that's just kind of something that I recommend. It's like, trust me, you don't want to be an overnight forever. It's not gonna be worth it. Another recommendation is just take the risk. Look, it all depends on different people, right? Like, for me, Gabi and I were married. We don't have children. We have 2 dogs, right? So I don't necessarily have mouths to feed minus the dogs. But I also have to be making money as well to pay rent, right? And then all the other expenses. But sometimes you got to take a risk to kind of, get a better life. Like, for me, Gabi technically didn't want me to kind of quit my job, because it's like, well, where are we going to get more money? I'm like, I just took a leap of faith, and I was like, I'm quitting. Why? Because of my body. It's like, I don't feel good. It's like, I want to be happy. I want us to be happy. So I just did it without telling her. It all worked out to my place, again, because I had been applying to places too, right? In my vacation, I was like, I'm applying to places, and it just worked out to my benefit that, hey, the job that I really wanted the most was the one that I was in the interview processes, and it's like, hey, we want you. It worked out, and I didn't even have to take time off to to get a job, because as soon as I quit, it's like the next day I was like, hey, you can start tomorrow. I was like, thank you. So it just all worked out for me. It's like, sometimes things are going to work out for you, sometimes they're not. But if you don't take any risk, it's kind of like, are you ever going to go anywhere? Right? Because as an overnight, for me, at my old position, there was nowhere for me to go up. It's like, I was already at the top, because, again, I was alone. I was in charge of everything. There was nothing, just more pay raise. But for the work, sometimes it just wasn't worth it. Also, just see if the job is affecting your life personally. It's like, are you sleeping well? Like, are you waking up tired? Are you getting headaches? Do you feel like lethargic? Like, these are things that you gotta kind of be checking to your body. Like, hey, like, is it affecting your relationship with your spouse? It's like, are you guys having issues, or just stuff like that? If it's things like that, it's kind of best to just kind of leave that job and find something else. But again, always be applying, see how it's affecting your life. And if it is, it's not worth it. Trust me, no one's going to care but you. Your employer is not going to care. It's going to be up to you. Like, hey, I want to change my life. I want to feel better. I don't know. And then obviously the most important one, my most important recommendation is listen to your body, man. If your body's feeling super tired, lethargic, you're getting headaches, it just isn't it for you. Sometimes it's just kind of like, hey, like, I worked enough here. Now it's time for me to move on and go back to normal again. That's how I did. It's like, I worked there for a long time. My body was kind of like, all right, now we don't feel good anymore. It's like, I switched back, and I'm telling you, I feel 1,000% more happier. I got more time. I'm enjoying my time with my family, my friends, my kids, right? My dogs, and my wife. And it's like, oh my God, like, I really wish I would have done this sooner, but just sometimes things happen for a reason, and that's just kind of how it goes. So again, maybe you're an overnight person. That's totally fine. If you're happy with it, then you're happy with it. If you have a healthy body, stick with it, right? To me, it was affecting me. I was like, I don't want to do this. And it's a good thing I took that risk because I'm super happy right now. Obviously, I'm not going to get into 2025, but I do have plans because I feel motivated now that I have 3 days. It's kind of like, dude, I have 3 days to do stuff. It's like, yes, like, you know, obviously I'm not going to talk about it. That'll be an update more. But by the time this video does go up, it's going to be maybe Christmas-ish / New Year's kind of days. So just want to, you know, thank you guys for everything and just wish you guys all happy holidays to whatever it is that you celebrate. Hopefully you enjoy your time with your family and just be happy, you know, just be thankful for all the moments that you're currently in. And that's going to be it. Sorry for blabbing for what seems to be almost 35 minutes. But just in general, thank you guys for everything. I feel so happy right now. It's just, yeah, overnight, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you have to, cool, but always be applying. But anyways, happy holidays, and y'all have a good one, all right? Peace.